Good afternoon. Welcome to today's Power Hour, Expand with Confidence, SBA Financing for Growing Companies. My name is Michaela Lavelle, and I am the Director of Events here at the Blue Springs Chamber. We are so happy to have you here with us today. Couple of quick reminders. We have a Power Hour session scheduled every month for 2026. They are always at noon and always on the first Tuesday of the month via Zoom. We are also recording each session and adding them to our resource center. If you miss one, you can go back and watch it later by logging into your member information center. Before we get started, please put your name and business in the chat so that we know who's here with us today. Becca's going to be monitoring the chat for questions, and we will hold a question and answer portion at the end. Today's presenter is Jamilah Ward with the United States Small Business Administration. Jamilah has a 10-year economic development background working for a local economic development corporation where her primary focus was business retention, attraction, and expansion with a specialized industry sector and working with minorities in entrepreneurship. She was instrumental in creating Kansas City EDC's first Tech Accelerator program, which is KCUP, which caters to minorities in tech. She opened a second location on 18th and Vine Street, opening the doors for Shark Tank auditions to be held here in Kansas City. Jamilah also served as a liaison between city departments, businesses, and the development community. She provided economic resources and informational assistance, workforce resources, customized research services, and more to ensure Kansas City's strategic economic development and quality job choices for its residents. She worked closely with commercial developers, business owners, real estate brokers, and site selectors to navigate the legislative process related to development and incentives. In her current position, Jamilah is the Outreach and Marketing Specialist for the United States Small Business Administration, promoting the resources and services that SBA has while connecting and generating new partnerships. Jamilah, we are so excited to have you here with us today. Are you ready to take it away?
I am ready to take it away. Thank you for the introduction, Michaela. I appreciate that. And thank you, Becca, and also the Blue Springs Chamber for having us today. I'm also going to have my colleague, Christian Tadani, joining me in this presentation. He's going to complete the financial portion of this presentation because we want our businesses to be able to leverage their resources, not only on a basic level, but we also want them to be able to scale. So they'll be able to grow their businesses. So, which is how we came up with the name for this Power Hour. So, Christian, if you just want to take a second and kind of introduce yourself and talk about what you're going to be talking about today.
My name is Christian Thadani. I'm from Springfield, Missouri. I work in the branch office in Springfield, and mostly what I do is I help lenders get their loans through. So as Jamilah mentioned, I'm going to focus on access to capital for small businesses today, and feel free to hit me up with any of your questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Christian. Okay, so with that said, we're going to go ahead and jump into our presentation today. We're going to be talking about SBA financing and growing for companies. So we're going to expand with confidence. What is expanding with confidence? Basically, again, going back to what I said, leveraging your resources. You don't want to just know about the surface level resources. We want to know about all the additional resources. This is your local district office. I didn't know if you were aware. SBA, we're located downtown Kansas City, Missouri. Basically, in our district territories, also Johnson County, Kansas, and it has within like 20 other cities within Johnson County. And our second economic engine is also Kansas City, Missouri, with Topeka, Kansas is our third, and with Springfield, Missouri being our fourth. So Christian mentioned he is from the Springfield branch office. And again, our local district office where I'm located is downtown Kansas City on 1000 Walnut Street.
Just tell.
Christian is going to be driving this thing for me. Sorry. Okay, so this is how we do it. With SBA here, we leverage our basically work with partners, local partners. We funnel down our federal resources down to particular agencies so they can be able to help our small businesses for free. And we do this by counseling, capital, contracts, and disaster assistance. So what is the right resource partner for you at this particular time? These are some of our funding partners that we work with: the Small Business Development Center, SBDC. We have SCORE Mentors, Women's Business Centers, and Veterans Business Outreach Centers. So if you're a veteran, we have a specific center that could basically do everything that the Small Business Development Center, and they pretty much do the same thing. So you may need help with maybe evaluating your products or putting financials together, or maybe just, I got a business idea, but I don't know how to put it on paper and execute it. Those agencies, the SBDC and the Veterans Business Outreach Center, can help you do those and kind of work with you to do those for free. SCORE Mentorship, they can help you put a business plan together for free. Women's Business Center pretty much does the same as the Small Business Development Center and the Veterans Business Outreach Center. So, but it's specific for women-owned businesses. The Apex Accelerator focuses on like government contracts. So if you need somebody to kind of handhold your hand through the process for government contracts, they are your agency, and they're located. If you go to the SBA.gov website, you will see their information on there as well. So with counseling, again, remember the SBDC, the Women's Business Center, and the VBOC for short. It's what we call it, Veterans Business Outreach Center. They could teach you to plan, launch, manage, and grow your business. So again, the market research and competitive analysis, writing your business plan, calculating your startup costs. You don't know where to start. They can help you find out where to start contingent upon your business model. Fund your business, or find you resources to fund your business. Buy an existing business or a franchise, disaster planning, cybersecurity, which is a popular thing. And then you have AI coming up. So that's another thing that you guys should want to focus on, and exit and coming into your exit strategies, and also starting your foundation of your business. Okay, so with capital, what can you get an SBA loan, business loan for? We have SBA business loans, but what can you get them for? Existing businesses, startup businesses, construction, leasehold improvements, working capitals, line of credit, purchasing machinery and equipment, and refinance of business debt, which Christian is going to kind of expound on a little in a few minutes here or so. Say you don't have a lender, you don't even know where to start as far as getting an SBA loan. SBA.gov has a component built into their website to where you can find an SBA provider. So you would need to go to SBA.gov, lender match, and then you see the tab where it says find lenders. Click on that, put in your information, and then it will pretty much drive it from there. And it will help you find an SBA lender based upon your situation. And with that said, I'm going to turn this portion over to Christian to kind of talk about a little bit more.
All right. So my name is Christian Thadani. Prior to coming to the Small Business Administration, I was a commercial lender. I help small businesses access capital. I've helped large businesses access capital. The Small Business Administration flagship program is the 7A loan program. The 7A loan program is going to provide small businesses in the Kansas City district office over 1,000 loans each year, roughly. So the way we do that is you go to a commercial lender, much like you would go to a residential lender, and they would help you pick through whether it's a conventional, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, VA loan, all those different flavors. A commercial loan officer fluent in government guaranteed lending can help you look through if it's a 7A loan, if it's a commercial loan, if it's a 504 loan, or it's possibly a USDA loan. The 7A loan program has varying terms and conditions. Many times business purchases are used when we use the 7A loan program. As the primary thing with the 7A loan program is a lack of collateral is not a reason for decline. The 504 loan program is mostly used for real estate or other large fixed assets that are expected to last over 10 years. And usually it's financing for up to $5 million, and it features a low long-term fixed rate portion of the SBA on the SBA side. If you are looking for a loan under $50,000, an excellent resource is the SBA-approved microlenders. Here in Kansas City District Office area, we have these 5 SBA-approved microlenders, and they specialize in making loans under $50,000. They are less stringent on their credit quality, so if your credit score is not perfect and you're run out from a commercial lender because the loan size is too small or your credit score is not up to par, this may be an excellent outlet for you. These are not-for-profit mission-based lenders that lend not to so much make a profit, but in order to expand the local economy. We've included their information, their contact information and phone numbers on the slide for you. Each one has a different territory. So if you are not sure which of these you would fall into a territory, if you get with Jamilah or I, we can help you out with that. One of the things I wanted to touch on was the SBA portfolio production since of this year versus last year. We are down a little bit. However, we are picking it up in volume going forward. And with that, I will turn it right back over to Jamilah. Jamilah?
Thank you, Christian. If you got any questions about that, turn them over back to us. She will get them answered for you. Oh, Christian, did you want to talk a little bit more about the disasters?
Yeah, I can do disaster loans.
We have disaster loans. Yeah.
All right. So in the springtime of last year, storms ripped through Southwest Missouri and St. Louis. When those storms came through and affected our local economy and affected folks in the area, we set up disaster loan outreach centers, allowed people to come into these physical locations and apply for a loan. It is one way that we do direct lending. You had to experience verified damage from a presidentially declared disaster. So many times when there is an issue like that, and there is a large issue, we are there with people on the ground to help get the wheels of the economy rolling. Next slide, please. If you'll just tap it. So we can, SBA disaster loans include real estate. So if your roof blows off, we had a bad hailstorm this spring in Greene County, and we may be getting a disaster declaration for that. There was widespread damage, and you can imagine with hail, a lot of it was to the windshields of cars, and those do qualify for disaster loan assistance. It has to be a presidentially declared disaster. So if you are in a large scale situation where insurance does not cover all of the damage and you do not have the funds, you may be able to come to the SBA for that. Next slide, please. Jamilah?
Okay, and here's a list of our local success stories. If you guys have any success stories, I don't know, maybe in the Blue Springs area or any area around you that you feel that have used SBA resources previously, please send them to us. We would like to highlight these companies. And going forward, I mean, if you have anybody who uses SBA products, we would definitely like to keep them in our pipeline to hear about their success stories, as we want them to be successful based upon these resources that we are offering today. You may know some of these companies. They may sound familiar. Gates Barbecue actually had that a few days ago, a couple of times actually last week too. So I need to stay away from there. But the Roastery, coffee shop, I go there often. I used to go there a lot. Town Topic, Echo Select, technology company. And again, some of you may have heard of these companies and some of you may have not. But yeah, we help them to get started. And this right here is our red tape hotline. This is pretty new. So if you have any issues as far as like the regulatory processes or anything like that, or just want to complain, feel free to tap into the red tape hotline and they can help you with that. That concludes our presentation. This is basically listing all of our people who are here at our local Kansas City district office. Again, Christian Tadani, he is located in our Springfield branch office. So I'm here in Kansas City, Christian's in Springfield. And then we also gained a new district director. Her name is Melissa. So she's located here at our Kansas City district office as well. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Becca and Michaela, you both have our contact information. I can get you Christian's
It's there on the screen.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, you can feel free to reach out and we'll be in touch if you need our help any further.
Perfect.
And thank you.
Yeah. I did have one question. I know a few of our members have been asking or looking for information about grants. Is that something you guys offer or can assist with at all?
So the Small Business Administration does not regularly have or have any grants that are available that, we are able to give you any taxpayer dollars as far as grants goes. Sometimes we have listings for pitch competitions or other types of grants or money that is available. It is best, I recommend that they go to their local SBDC because oftentimes our SBA funded partners who have many of these relationships with the small businesses are, informed of these grant opportunities. It might not be with the federal government. It might be with the state or local RLF or something like that, where they have a limited time grant opportunity. We do not have any grants at this time. The USDA may have some, depending if you are agricultural related in their pocket, but the Small Business Administration does not have any at this point, at this moment.
However, and I'm going to kind of expand out what Christian just said, there may be some other organizations, whether they're local, depending on your area, that I may know of, or even Christian may know of later on, through some of the partners that he deal with. Not even partners, just additional resources in the community. This is what I mean by leveraging, because it may be something that we don't do per se at the SBA. However, I may know another community organization that may have the access to grants depending on that person's industry. So again, just feel free to reach out and we can kind of go from there. Each business is tailored differently. So I just like to, if it's a food business, I might know a food culinary service that offers grants, organization that offers grants that I could refer back to them. Even though we don't do it, they may do it. So just feel free to reach out and we can kind of go from there.
Okay, perfect. There's another question here. Jake wants to know, how do the microloan rates compare to commercial loans for the same purpose?
So oftentimes rates, it's a very good question. That's a very common question amongst people who, when I do these types of presentation, they ask me about rates. Rates are not set by the Small Business Administration. We provide a range of rates, and each lender is able to set their own rates. The rates at your commercial banks are going to typically be the lowest. If you are requiring an SBA guarantee because there's some piece in your credit application that is a weakness that the lender feels like needs that SBA guarantee to get you over the hump, oftentimes that may require an additional percent in interest. The common interest rate that I see for commercial lending is 1 or 2 points over prime. Prime is at somewhere around 7 these days. So that's where I typically see them. Micro lenders are actually oftentimes higher than that, sometimes reaching into double digits. However, because it is a smaller size loan amount, the number of dollars that you're actually paying with that interest rate is much lower because they don't often charge as many fees or whatever as a commercial lender would. Oftentimes I see commercial banks charging their customers a $2,500 fee for their loan. And if you're only looking for $10,000, that fee can equate into a much larger interest rate. Whereas the micro lenders, they don't typically charge as many fees as some of the commercial lenders do. So you have to look at the whole package as far as that goes, the fees and the rate, to determine how much money you are paying to borrow those dollars as opposed to rate. And I know that was a long answer to a short question, but I hope I've answered it.
no, perfect.
Thank you, Christian.
And then Vince also wanted to know, how long does it typically take to secure a 7A loan? And what are the documentation requirements?
That again depends greatly on one of the things about commercial lending is every application is different. So if I were a car lender or if I were a home lender, most applications look the same. I take your W-2s, I take your, I make a calculation, I take your credit score and I put it into a machine and it spits out a rate and how much you can afford. Whereas a business loan, it's different. You have your business revenue and income and expenses, and then you have your personal revenue or your personal expenses that also have to be considered. The other thing that drives commercial lending, the timeline to do that is the collateral is always different. So if it is a piece of real estate, that timeline can be much larger because things like appraisals, environmental inspections are required. Whereas if it's, a piece of equipment, I've seen those go through in a week or two if everything else is clean. You will be expected to provide, if it is a startup business, 3 years of projections and a business plan. You should make that business plan not your business plan with your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, but you should think of that business plan more like a pitch deck to here's why this lender should invest in my business. And so when you put together what's the lender's asking for a business plan, you don't necessarily want to go into heavy on the weaknesses and the threats, on that pitch deck that you're giving to the lender to get financing. What you really want to do is put together a pitch deck that says, here's the money I'm looking for, here's how I'm looking to use it, and here's why I think I'm going to be able to pay you back. So if you have an existing business and you have 3 years of financials, that's great, but you're also going to need current financials. So, right now a lot of people have not completed their business taxes for 2025. So if you were coming to me applying for a loan, you'd only have 22, 23, and 24. We would not know what you did in 25 and half of 26 or for the last 18 months. So you need to be able to show me current year-to-date financials for any period that is not covered by your tax returns. There's also a personal financial statement that is required that often trips up applicants. It is very common in commercial lending to be handed a personal financial statement. If you need help filling out any of those documents or getting prepared for that ask to go for your money, you should go to the Small Business Development Center. You should go to the Women's Business Center. You should go to the VBOC and ask them for help to put that together. Once you've gotten all of that put together, they might be able to recommend 2 or 3 lenders to present that pitch to.
Right. That's perfect. Thank you.
Remember, those are federally funded resources, so use them.
Yeah, absolutely. Vince wanted to know, what if he's been in business for over 10 years?
He just needs 3 years of tax returns, a PFS, and year-to-date financials. Don't walk in there with no 2025s and nothing for 2026. I want to know what you did for the last 18 months.
Gotcha. Okay. We've got another question here from Ashish. What is the new SBA limit to max to one borrower? And also,
5 million. 7A is 5 million. Sorry if you got another part to that. 7A is 5 million. The 504 loan, you can also get 4 million on it. However, if they have just put out a clarification that if you get the 7A loan approval before you can get the 504, you can potentially get 5 and 5 for a total of 10.
Perfect. Okay. And then he's also asking if you can explain the 504 refinancing requirement.
So there's a lot. I could probably talk an hour about that, and I don't know that I have all of that. But if we're talking about 504, the number, even though that 504 is actually like a 401k, it describes a place in the law that authorizes that program. That's how they get the name of that program. 504, oddly enough, so the lender would take 50%. And the SBA would take 40% roughly, leaving you to put down 10. Somehow or another, that's how they structured that loan, even though it correlates to a section of the loan, Small Business Act that authorizes that lending. The 504 loan program, typically the SBA portion is the one that gets the long-term fixed rate. If you go on to rmiinc.org, one of the first things on their page, it will show you the rates that they are charging for their portion of it. What the lender charges is what the lender charges. That is a third-party loan, and I cannot dictate those rates.
Gotcha. Okay. And Ashish, I know you weren't here at the very beginning. I can definitely send you Christian's contact info as well if you have more questions about the 504. And then I have another question here from Connie. She has a food truck, and so she just wanted to know if you have any other resources or direction or advice for them as far as grants go for food trucks.
So I don't, but I would encourage her to, if you could just click end show for me, please.
Yeah.
I would encourage her strongly to get in touch with our partners. We're her closest partner, whether it's the SBDC or the VBOC. I was just at the Small Business Development Center. They do have some programs or services that they can, or they may have some grants, is what I'm saying. I do not know of any right now for any food trucks. I don't have any. Getting a grant can be a full-time job in of itself. The people who work for the chamber are kind of familiar with that because they apply for grants all day long and they do not get them. Getting a grant is difficult and, or finding that grant, but, cast your net, spread it wide and see what you can get.
Actually, hi Connie. I actually spoke with Connie a few days ago and sent her some couple of resources as well. So yeah, the SBDC was one of those resources. However, I do have an innovation center that I believe will be a good resource for her as well. So Connie, just follow up with me after this and I will get you that information.
Perfect. So listening to all of this, I kind of had a question myself, which is, at what point, I know we're talking about loans and things for business growth. What are some of the common times when a business might be looking to take out a loan, or how do they know when they're ready to grow in that way?
Yeah, so growth takes projections, and when you are, ready for that growth or to invest your future dollars today, which is truly what a loan is. You're getting your future revenue and you are putting it into your business today. And when money has a time value to it. So you're taking money out of your future bank account and putting it into today's bank account, which means that it's going to have a cost to it. What you need to do before you invest in any type of investment is to do enough paperwork or do enough research into that investment to make sure it's going to yield you back the dollars to not only repay the loan, but to put some money in your pocket, because we don't take risk unnecessarily. And so, risk should, to take on risk, you should expect to receive a reward. To take on a loan is risk. Therefore, I would highly recommend anybody who is looking at growing their business or investing their future dollars is to talk to a business counselor. It does not cost you anything but time and value. And you go in there and talk to them and come out with a better idea of what, if that person thinks it's a good idea or not. And, you can get that confidential counseling, that soundboarding at no cost to you by people who do that all the time. They see different businesses in different industries. So they kind of hear that from other business owners, or they might have a business owner who tried something similar to what you've tried and might be able to provide some real life experience to what has happened. And so anytime you are looking to invest in your business significantly, you should always go into that with your eyes wide open and your homework done to make sure that that investment is going to yield you the expected results.